This 2020-21 Vendee Globe Round the World Race Report is brought to you by Pantania's Professional Race Cover, your tailor-made racing yacht insurance. Day 57, at 16:30 CET today, Boris Hermann informed his team that he had a rip in the mainsail between reefs 2 and 3. Boris and the team consulted, and after a meeting with the Sailmaker they have a plan on how to fix it. It is rough and wet at the moment, so Boris is considering when to make the repair work on the main. Currently sailing in 30-35 knots of wind with only his headsail up, he is still making a good speed. Boris is still expected to pass Cape Horn in around 5 to 6 hours.
So Boris on board Sea Explorer Yacht Club de Monaco is now within 500 miles of Cape Horn, and we should see him round it around midnight UTC tonight, which will mark the end of the Southern Ocean for him. But now we can start to look at the strategy and what the route might be up towards the equator and through the South Atlantic, and where there might be some places to gain. So here we have Boris down here right now, and what's going to happen is he's going to sail up in this wind here. There's currently westerly wind after the Cape Horn. We've seen for a few boats it's been quite light winds. Thomas Riant is there, and Charlie Dallon had some very light winds as well. So Boris may have to avoid them. But basically what's happening is the first situation is going to be this band of high pressure that's developing off the coast of Brazil. And what's that's going to happen in the next few days is it's going to make its way over towards the east, in front of the path of the fleet. And Boris should come up like this and converge on the western side of it. One thing to consider though is after he's gone around the Horn, you can see that the wave height, which is sort of up to 5 or 6 meters south of Cape Horn, is massively reduced, and for the rest of the South Atlantic he should be in much nicer, flatter water of 1 or 2 meter swells, and that will allow him to push the boat a lot harder. But by Friday, Boris will have converged with this high pressure, which we can see has moved over towards the east of him. So he'll have sailed up here past the Falklands, and will be looking for a shift to tack upwind north towards the next system, which is a low pressure developing off the coast of Brazil here. And what's going to happen is this low, since it's very young, is going to move really quickly down towards the southeast. And as it does so, Boris will be able to pass round the back of it and make his way north. This is kind of the only option he really has to sail to the north, because if we draw a line as to how far north he would be able to make it, if he goes further inshore towards the west, he'll be stuck in this really light wind patch and not be able to go anywhere. And he can't really go much further east than this, since you've got the high pressure and you've also got the ice exclusion zone. So it'll probably be a balance of sailing this upwind in this high pressure here. And if we skip forward to next Sunday at midday UTC, we can see that this low pressure system has moved right down here towards the southeast, and Boris will already be into the next system, which is this high pressure developing here, sailing downwind. But potentially this will be a chance to gain a few miles on Matricock and Pivia, who will be up ahead. We can see that they're in this slightly confused upwind conditions, not quite in the nice easterly trade winds that they'll be looking for. So a few options over the next week for Boris to gain some miles, but let's see how he gets on around Cape Horn.
The alarm beeps for the batteries, and I'm too high speeds to put down the hydro generator, so I start the engine, and it works for like 20 seconds, and then it stops charging and the alarm goes off again. And okay, I check, and then earlier in the race I had a problem with the conveyor belt, so I thought, okay, then it's probably that, and I got straight at it to change the conveyor belt. I did that, and try again, no charge. I had all my tools there, and I had to move all the spare gear away to get to the spare conveyor belt and the stack, and the inside of the bow was a bit like moving your flat or something. And in this whole situation, I got hit by a 37 knot gust and nose diving, and all the stuff flying forward onto me. Big stress moment when not knowing if I will be able to charge again, and so on and so on. No power means I have no water to drink, because I need electric power to drink water. stressed. So after that gust, I take another reef. Then I go back and think, okay, you need to also preserve yourself. It's already like 20 hours. I'm full on, kind of all the time something. So I eat something. I eat my muesli. And I thought, okay, should you just catch a little bit of sleep? No, let's fix the generator first, of course. See what we can do. And then I fiddle around more in that area. I thought maybe the generator belt is slipping, the conveyor belt, and I don't, without me being able to see it. But then I look, maybe it's the switch, and there's this on-off switch. I move the switch many times to see if there's any bad connection, and I check the cables a bit, and then I squeeze one of the very thick power cables. The power cables coming from the generator, big like a finger, and it feels funny and wobbly at one point, and I cut the insulation away, and I see underneath it's broken with the vibration. I was so relieved in that moment, so happy. That's a simple fix. I cut the cable a bit apart and built a little connector thing with 2 washers and a bolt, and had the cable reconnected in no time. And it's charging again. Yes, I was so happy. I was like jumping up and down and shouting around. Because if you have no power, it's like, oh, it's so difficult. I mean, it can be the end of the race. Or if you only rely on the hydro and solar, then you, in a condition like this, you risk to rip off your hydros. And then again, there are these huge, massive clouds coming through with big wind, and in between, so the wind is basically between 18 and 35, and one gust was maximum, was 38. So it's still stressful, and I clean up the interior outside. I climbed into the boom to check if all my reef lines were clear and not shaving on the main. And then I thought, okay, sleep now, sleep. I lie down, but I couldn't sleep. 2 hours. I was relaxing a bit, and then I need to get up to pee, and I forgot to switch this alarm back on, and I forgot this and that. Just thinking and checking, and it put such a deep existential stress in me to not have the charging system working, and it's really difficult to get that out. Now it's many hours ago, and I still feel like someone is putting a rope around my throat. So I will eat lunch now and then lie down, but the lying down is an exercise in itself, because it takes you need to focus to not listen to the boat, not think, and at the same time jump in the right moment when it needs you to ease everything in a panic because the boat is about to broach.
If you're taking your racing to the next level, make sure your insurance is up to the challenge. Pantanius Professional Race Cover.
This 2020-21 Vendee Globe Round the World Race Report was brought to you by Pantanius Professional Race Cover, your tailor-made racing yacht insurance.